Up next on Connections, an unprecedented labor contract. What will it mean to the CTA's longtime search for a funding solution? A Touch of Class, a new program that provides a blitz of rapid improvements to CTA stations. Riding CTA is environmentally friendly, and CTA headquarters is environmentally friendly too. And you'll meet the King of Clean, a CTA employee who's winning awards for his cleaning skills. The CTA, working hard to improve, committed to quality, and its riders. Welcome to Connections. The CTA, delivering quality, affordable transit that links people, jobs, and communities. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. The CTA and its labor unions make history. They agreed to an unprecedented 5-year contract. Now it's up to the state legislature to take action.
The Chicago Transit Authority and its employees have done their part through their labor contract and other financial reforms over the last few weeks. Now it's time for the General Assembly to do their part on behalf of the CTA and 1.5 million daily riders.
Mayor Daley, CTA management, and union leaders announce agreement on a 5-year contract.
This is very important and historic commitment because it shows that the CTA and its employees are doing all they can to hold down costs to make sure that their customers and taxpayers and state legislators are getting their money's worth.
The contract is contingent on funding approval from the state legislature, which is currently in overtime session. The contract allows a 3% pay raise in the first 3 years and a 3.5% raise in the last 2. More importantly, it includes reforms to resolve the CTA's health care and pension problems.
There was a clear understanding on both sides that we needed to change. We needed to change to ensure our relationship worked better. We needed to change to make sure that the service at the CTA worked better. And most importantly, we needed to change so that we could put forth a system that ensured our retirees' health care, ensured a pension system that was viable, and ensured that the CTA could operate and provide the best possible service to its customers.
When you look at what's going on throughout the country, we're living in a time now where pension plans are being crashed instead of brought back to life, and I think we've done a remarkable thing here.
The contract covers all 17 labor unions at the CTA. That's 10,200 employees, or 88% of the CTA workforce. A healthcare trust would be established under the plan.
It moves that responsibility away from the CTA and places it into an independent board made up of employees, made up of management, made up of the Auditor General's office, who can put together a benefit structure that the CTA can afford and can put together a benefit structure that will last long term for the CTA and its employees, but reduces that overhead cost on our operating budget.
The CTA and its unions expedited the arbitration process, recognizing the need to act quickly to prompt legislative action and forestall implementation of the CTA contingency plan. That plan calls for higher fares and significant cuts in service.
The people who ride transit in Chicago are the employees and the customers of the business community that I represent. If you implement those cuts, we will have employees who can't get to work.
At a series of public hearings, CTA riders were very vocal in their opposition to the plan.
And the message was very loud and it was very clear that there's nothing about the particular contingency plan that was put forth that our riders want, and we share that with them. And so certainly it's helped galvanize ourselves, our riders, on focusing on getting the needed legislation so that we don't have to put the plan in place.
So, the CTA has done its part. The unions have done their part. And what about CTA riders? Anything they can do? As it turns out, there is. The CTA has set up a link on its homepage, transitchicago.com. Go to the big red box, Act Now to Save Mass Transit. Click on that, and it takes you to a site called SaveChicagolandTransit.com. In the center of the page, there's an instant link that allows riders to easily contact state elected officials and help push for a solution to public transit funding. The state legislature also requested that the CTA implement budget reforms. The CTA has complied with that request, cutting $18 million from the budget so far, including 75 administrative positions. I'm here at the Clark and Lake L station, a station that's recently received a touch of class. And class stands for Clean, Lit, and Safe Stations.
This is the CTA's way of recommitting to giving the public the best service possible to make sure it is a clean, safe, and courteous station.
The Clark Lake Street station is one of the busiest on the CTA system. It is the first station to benefit from the new CLASS program.
CLASS was designed so that we could go every 3 to 4 weeks to a new station and bring in some quick improvements. It's being able to bring a team in that looks at a facility and comes up with a list of things that we can do, get in, get out, without disturbing the flow of traffic.
Think of it not as, let's say, plastic surgery. Think of it as a cosmetic makeover. Surfaces are brightened with a fresh coat of paint. Cracked and missing tiles are replaced. Steel surfaces are cleaned and polished. Subway side panels are power washed.
If you've ever seen them dirty, you'll certainly notice that they're clean.
Protective coverings are added to glass surfaces to stop vandals from etching the glass. Anti-etching materials will also prevent vandalism on some elevators.
If you notice on this elevator, it's hit pretty bad. We're going to implant a piece of metal. It's called a polka dot metal, so you'll still have vision, but it'll stop them from being able to actually vandalize the glass.
Most important for customer safety is brighter lighting.
In the subway, we'll relamp where we have to. Most of those lights were newer, and then we're going to take the lenses off and clean them. We're actually looking into some additional lighting down there.
Most of the improvements are appealing on a visual level, but other improvements are designed to appeal to your sense of smell.
If you take the elevator, you're going to notice new floors. You're going to notice how clean it is. You're going to notice, hopefully, that they're starting to smell better. So this is an example of an elevator and the reason why we're coming in to make some changes.
Old elevator flooring soaks up liquids and retains odors. Liquids also seep into and stink up elevator shafts. Here's an example of the new flooring.
It's a vinyl flooring. The vinyl flooring will be sealed. Then there will be a cap that goes around that will be sealed.
These improvements are specific to the Clark Lake Street facility. What is done at other facilities will depend on what the CLASS team determines best meets the needs of customers at those locations.
We've always committed to good service to the public, and I think this is our recommitment to them. It's us coming out to say, we know that you travel, we know that you put your faith in us, and we want to make sure it's the cleanest and safest environment.
The next stop for the CLASS program, 63rd and Halstead. Again, the improvements take about 3 to 4 weeks to complete, and at no time will CLASS work interrupt service. Just ahead on Connections, why the CTA headquarters building is winning environmental awards. How optimistic are you about Springfield coming up with a long-term solution for CTA's budget problems?
Well, I think that I'm optimistic because I think that Chicago being the hub that it is, a lot of the money that's generated throughout the state of Illinois originates in Chicago. So I think that they have to release that money. They have to produce that money so that people can get to work.
I have to ride. So whatever happens, I have to deal with it because I have to ride it because I don't drive anything.
The money's going to come. If they want the Olympics in 2016, they're going to come up with it.
I think they're going to have to find a way. I think it will, because otherwise it's just going to lead to more problems and people are going to get more angry at things.
Well, if they happen to come up with it after all these years, I don't see how they're going to come up with it now, really, to be honest with you.
I have every reason to believe that the good legislators that represent us in Springfield will do the right thing. They always do.
Combining technology and teamwork while delivering dependable, affordable transit. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections. The CTA headquarters building is being honored for its environmentally friendly construction and operation. And helping to keep Chicago green also helps to keep more green in taxpayers' wallets. A summer breeze tussles native prairie grass. Flowering time scents the air. These aren't scenes from a local nature preserve. These plants sprout from the top of the CTA headquarters, amid the glass, steel, and concrete of Chicago's downtown.
We're on the top of the building, on the upper green roof. This building has a vegetated roof to reduce the urban heat island effect in Chicago. Urban heat island occurs in built-up urban areas where there's a lot of pavement and asphalt, which absorbs heat from the sun and actually creates its own microclimate, which is hotter than natural green areas.
The CTA's green roof is just one of many reasons its headquarters building has been awarded gold certification in leadership in energy and environmental design.
The U.S. Green Building Council has a rating system that is set up, and they've created a scorecard for buildings. This building managed to accumulate enough credits so that it's achieved the gold level of certification.
The green roof is just one example of how the CTA incorporates conservation efforts in the management and maintenance of the building.
We use green products to clean our building. We also recycle. We recycle batteries even, not just paper.
The CTA building has automatic shut-off faucets to conserve water. Energy-efficient light bulbs are used. And offices have motion sensors that turn off lights when no one is in the office.
Then it's also in the conference room. So if you're in a conference room, same thing will occur. Once you leave the conference room, if you don't turn off the lights, it will go off on its own.
Walls of windows provide an abundance of natural lighting and skyline views. That's good for energizing employees.
So that natural light can come in, we can use less light in the building, but also people working can have access to natural light, which is more stimulating. You feel better with natural light.
The CTA used to rent space in the Merchandise Mart. By purchasing its own building, the CTA has gone from being a rent-paying tenant to building owner and rent-collecting landlord.
Right now we have Quiznos, a 7-Eleven downstairs, and RTA Pace will be opening a small office shortly as well.
The building is located at 567 Lake Street. There's a bus stop out front and an L stop on the corner.
We were looking for something centrally located that was convenient both to our customers and to our employees. So it was a benefit when we found this location, which happens to be right next to our Clinton station on the Green Line.
The headquarters building also has a bike room to make it easy for employees to ride their bikes to and from work. That's something else jurists took into consideration when awarding gold status to the building. But the building scored highest in energy efficiency. The CTA actually reduced energy output at the building last year.
By having very efficient equipment, by having a well-insulated building, by having what's called a building automation system, which is sort of like the conductor of an orchestra that makes all of the mechanical equipment work together in a very efficient way.
Energy savings are cost savings, and energy expended to improve the environment is energy well spent. Another note on savings. By owning the building, as opposed to renting, the CTA estimates it will save $7.7 million over 15 years. When it comes to neat, he's the man to beat. Alan Marshall is a two-time champion of the annual Transit Jamboree rodeo competitions.
If you're gonna do something, be good at it.
Alan Marshall is good at what he does. He cleans CTA rail cars at the 98th Street shop, and for the past 2 years, he swept away the competition in the cleanliness category at the CTA Rodeo.
2005, first place. 2006, first place. I competed in the competition 8 times and placed 7. And when I won the first one, it was good, but winning the second one shows it wasn't a fluke.
The rodeo cleanliness competition involves bus and rail servicers, as well as janitors and grounds maintenance personnel.
We have 6 different events. One is removing graffiti from a graffiti stain panel, removing stickers from a glass panel, sweeping different type of floor surfaces, also tying and untying water hoses. And there's a written test where there's 25 questions regarding the procedures and policy of CTA.
Just being accurate and actually doing a good job will help you win the competition.
Cleaning is something Alan enjoys doing. It's something he learned at a young age. His mother insisted on a meticulously clean home.
Spotless. That's why this job is easy. You could clean the house and you'll never be finished.
Whatever had to be done, she would have us do it. We worked in the garden, we cut the grass, we painted, we washed windows, we did it all. She had us do, that's how she was. She's a bit of a neat freak.
Kenneth is Alan's brother. He also works at the 98th Street shop as a mechanic. He says his brother's cleaning skills make his mother proud.
Yes, she is. She's very proud of him, very proud of him. We all are.
Alan himself takes pride in his work, and it shows. Day after day, train car after train car.
With the many customers that's riding CTA, the train is going to get dirty. And some people does their job and pick up their trash, and some does not. So that's when my job kick in.
Alan also helps keep the 98th Street shop clean and safe.
You pull all the trash, empty the garbages, sweep the floor, mop, anything that you feel that need to be done for safety-wise, you just do it. That's everybody's job to do the first thing in the morning.
Doing his job well every day is what makes Alan a tough competitor in the CTA Rodeo. And he has 2 rodeo championship trophies to prove it. He's out to bag a 3rd championship at the 2007 Transit Jamboree in September.
It's actually fun. Competing, competition is good. There's no losers. They're all winners because anybody who comes out to try to compete and know their job better and make it fun for themselves shows that they enjoy their job.
To even qualify to compete in the CTA Bus and Rail Rodeo, employees must have a near-perfect work record. So it's not an exaggeration to say that the rodeo winners are truly the very best of the CTA's best.
Still to come, counting down to a new Brown.
On an average weekday, the CTA provides 1.5 million rides, getting people where they need to go around Chicago and 40 surrounding suburbs. If you want to hop aboard, here's how to get all the information you need. Online, go to www.transitchicago.com. There you can access bus and train schedules, system maps and brochures, and service updates. You can even use the trip planner. Enter where you want to start, where you want to go, and what time you plan to travel. The trip planner suggests the best route to take. Another option, make the connection by phone. Call 836-7000 from any local area code.
The word connection, a link or a spark that brings people together. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
The Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project is about 45% complete, and already it's winning awards. That's just one of several developments to tell you about as the CTA continues the countdown to a new Brown.
They're not grand in size, but the Rockwell and Kedzie stations are grand in design. That's the opinion of judges who awarded station architects the 2007 Charter Award from the Congress for the New Urbanism.
One juror said that inch for inch these buildings, these stations do for their neighborhoods what Grand Central Station in New York does for Manhattan and New York City.
The Congress for the New Urbanism promotes the type of neighborhood development that discourages sprawl. The jury panel said architects Muller and Muller set the gold standard for design with these unassuming stations. The stations are tucked neatly and unobtrusively into the communities they serve.
It does a lot of the small things really well. The jurors appreciated the clean lines, they liked the materials, they liked the way those things were related to the existing neighborhood. They really do enhance the experience of people in the neighborhood, the transit riders, and help them get to where they're going.
The Rockwell and Kedzie stations reopened for service last August after 6 months of renovation work. Besides the new glass station houses, there are new platforms with tactile edging, accessible gates and ramps, and brighter lighting. And those are some of the features riders can look forward to at the new Diversey station. Diversey closed for renovation on June 25th.
The new Diversey station will actually be located on the south side of the street, whereas the current one is on the north side of the street. It'll be a larger, more open station house. It'll have a bigger array of turnstiles with an ADA accessible turnstile. It'll have a new elevator to each platform for ADA accessibility.
The historic old station house will be refurbished and used as an auxiliary exit. Look for Diversey to reopen next summer. In the meantime, the adjacent stations, Fullerton and Wellington, will remain open during the Diversey closure. In all, 18 stations will be rehabbed as a part of the Brown Line project.
We've completed 5 of them, mainly up at the at-grade portion of the project, Kimball, Kedzie, Francisco, Rockwell, and Western. There's some minor punch list work going on at those stations, but for the most part they are completed.
Overall, the Brown Line Capacity Expansion Project is on schedule and on budget. As for the 3-track operation, it's going more smoothly than many expected.
This is Fullerton. Transvergent red and purple line trains at Fullerton.
We've had very few complaints, and I think that in general, people have been pretty much satisfied with what we've been able to do with the 3-track operation.
Much of the credit goes to CTA riders who heeded the call. Leave early, leave late, alternate.
You just got to pick the time to be on it. I leave a little bit earlier, both ends, in the morning and the afternoon.
Oh, I have changed my schedule. I have to get up earlier. And when I'm coming back at like 5, it's always packed.
Everything stayed the same for me.
I think it might even be a bit better.
We indicated when we initiated 3-track that we were going to monitor it very closely and make changes as necessary and as we can. And the changes that we've made have been some pretty positive ones. Since the operation through the corridor has been so reliable, we found that we were able to actually add more trains. We've added a total of 7 more trains, 3 in the morning and 4 in the afternoon. This has allowed more patronage to come back to the rail system.
And more riders are taking buses.
Both the 147 and the number 11, Lincoln Sedgwick, have increased in ridership by about 46-47%, so that's very significant. So the word got out. I think the news media helped us. Much of the campaign that we waged in advance, I think really hit the target, and people took that to heart and responded, and it's been absolutely great, and it's really gone a long ways toward making this whole operation work well under some what could have been potentially challenging conditions.
Challenging to the CTA and its riders.
Just want to get the construction over with.
3-track operation continues until the Brown Line project is complete in 2009.
Even though several stations along the Brown Line are temporarily closed, the businesses along the Brown Line remain open. So please remember to support those businesses during construction. And for more information on the Brown Line project, the web address is ctabrownline.com.
Up next, 2 popular and fun weekend excursions. Getting from here to there quickly, easily, and without breaking the bank. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
The CTA has 2 fun and interesting ways to ride the rails and see the sights. One is the Loop Tour train, the other is the Niki Express, which brings you here to the Garfield Park Conservatory for a very cool exhibit.
the popular Loop Tour train is back on track for the summer season. The train takes riders on a tour of historic buildings via the L. Riders feast their eyes on famous landmarks and feed their minds with a steady stream of facts dispensed by onboard tour guides.
This was Rothschild's department store and then Gold Glass, done in 1912 by Oliver and Roach.
The tour takes about 40 minutes and the train circles the loop 3 times. Each segment of the trip highlights different aspects of the city's history and architecture.
We went around the loop 3 times. They told us all about the buildings, just tons of good stuff.
The Loop Tour train operates Saturdays, now through the end of September. Tickets are free but have to be picked up at the Chicago Cultural Center.
There is a certain capacity, so we suggest people get there early, and the way to get a free ticket for the tour train is to come to the Visitor Center at the Cultural Center, 78 East Randolph. And our visitor reps are waiting for you there with a smile and a ticket and directions to anything else that you may need.
And while you're there, pick up a free ticket for the Niki Express, too. That's the CTA train that takes you directly to Garfield Park Conservatory to view an exhibit by sculptor Niki de Saint-Phal.
Niki de Saint-Phal is very, very famous. She was born in France, lived her adolescence in the United States. This is the first year that it's ever been at the Garfield Park Conservatory, and only the second time that this exhibit has been in the United States, and this is the largest exhibit ever in the United States. So it is a must-come, must-see event. Bring your kids, it's interactive, they can climb all over the sculptures, and it is simply monumental and amazing.
Like the Loop Tour train, the Niki Express operates on a limited weekend schedule. The Chicago Office of Tourism sponsors the trains. It's a great way to introduce the CTA to visitors and hometown holdouts. Your best bet is to take the CTA no matter what day of the week you come to the conservatory.
Well, the CTA is the best way to get down here. It's about 50 steps from this fabulous new renovated CTA station to the front door of Garfield Park Conservatory.
The conservatory is open every day, as is the CTA. The Niki de Saint-Phal exhibit runs through October 31st.
Here's a look at the Niki Express train schedule. Trains leave Randolph and Wabash at 11:20 and 1:15 on Saturdays. Sundays at 11, 12:25, and 1:50. The return trip from the Conservatory Central Park Drive stop is at 1 and 3 Saturday afternoon, and Sundays at 12:10, 1:35, and 3:25 in the afternoon.
Traveling in and around Chicago on the CTA saves you time and money. I'm Jean Sparrow. Welcome to Connections.
We're always looking for story suggestions. Do you have a travel secret you'd like to share? How about a hidden gem that's served by the CTA? Give us a call at the Connections hotline, 312-681-2812. Helping you make your connections, I'm Jean Sparrow. Thanks for watching.